second chapter, section number 2, shloka 1 and 2. Puram ekadasham dwaram ajasya vakrachetasaha anushtaya no shochati vimuktascha vimuchyate etat vaitat. The unborn, effulgent self is residing in your heart. He is residing in a city of 11 doors. One who meditates on the self will be free from suffering. Okay. See, the suffering is there in life. Okay. People suffer. Why do people suffer? Something I get in life, something I don't get in life. Okay, some success is there, some failure is there. We attribute this as a cause of suffering. It is not what you get or what you don't get in life. What is your self-identity that makes a difference. Your self-identity causes you suffering. A person with a better self-identity, okay, is able to handle life, ups and downs of life, much better way. A person with inferiority complex, if something happens, some loss is there in life, he takes it very seriously. He'll get mentally disturbed. Even if he gets something, he'll always compare with somebody else and starts feeling inferior. Whereas a person with superiority complex, he'll try to do something, okay, and may take up something bigger than himself and may lose some. So whatever you do in life always depends on your self-identity. The self-identity depends on what role you play in the society, whether you are a man or woman, whether you come from rich family or poor family. So these are all social phases of you. But as far as you are concerned, the divinity in you is not affected. Instead of identifying yourself with the social roles, you start identifying with the true self. You will become free from suffering. Okay. So as a man or woman, as a tall or as fat, I may feel inferior or superior. But what we don't realize is this body is not me. It's a social identity. The real me is my self. The self is the consciousness. As I told earlier, Angushta Matram, the consciousness has to be visualized as thumb-sized divinity present in your heart. Okay. So this body is the temple of the divine. This body is made up of blood, the blood, bone and the skin and muscle is the temple of the divine, temple of the supreme reality. And that supreme reality is called Purusha or consciousness, is myself. When I say I, actually I am referring to consciousness. Okay? So this understanding should be there. Now this consciousness in me is not separate from the universal consciousness or God. Okay? The consciousness cannot separate out from God. Like a wave cannot separate from the ocean. Is wave separate from ocean? Wave is a part of the ocean. Where is the boundary between the wave and ocean? We cannot draw a boundary. The consciousness in me is the same consciousness, divine consciousness or supreme consciousness, Brahman. This identity we have to constantly remember. Okay? If we don't remember, then we'll get stuck with social roles, social identities based on the caste, creed, body size, body beauty. So then we'll feel inferior or superior. There's a saying in what I guess inspirational saying: believe in yourself. Now, which self you believe? As a male you believe, or a female you believe, as a social identity engineer you believe? What self you will believe? You have to believe in your real self. That's what it means. These are all identities. These are all roles. Don't confuse yourself with role. Recognize your real self. The real self is the consciousness. In the heart doesn't mean physical heart. Then we start thinking of physical heart. The heart in Sanskrit language is called Hridayam, is the center of intellect. Intellect is the center. The center of the body is controlled by mind. The mind is controlled by intellect. Intellect is the boss. The boss called intellect is powered by consciousness. Okay? That consciousness is in the heart center, means the consciousness is in the intellect. That's what it means. Don't start looking for a physical organ called heart. It is in the center of intellect. Your intellect is powered by consciousness. Your intellect cannot operate. Intellect can think, but there is no knowledge is not possible without consciousness. Knowingness is consciousness. Intellect and mind can generate thoughts. Thoughts are objects. Thoughts have no life. The consciousness is the knowing ability. Without the knowing ability, mind cannot know anything. There is no ability to know. And you are that consciousness, you are that Purusha. The example here given here is the body is compared to a puri. Puri means city. Okay? The body is compared to a puri. Puri means city. In earlier days, the city had gates. The city had a fort and it had gates, many gates. So this body has 11 gates. Means 11 openings. You find out the sense organs: ear, mouth, nose, okay, genitals, the anus. So there are 11 openings for this gate, city. But who is residing in the city? The Purusha, the consciousness. Okay, that consciousness which is residing in the city is actually God only, is Brahman only. There are no two entities called Jiva and Brahman. The consciousness aspect of you is actually divine, is Brahman. So you should think of your higher identity, which is divinity. The Jiva or individual consciousness is Shiva, the supreme consciousness. This identity you have to contemplate, understand, contemplate and meditate. Then all the identities related to body, mind and intellect: I am superior, I am from this caste, I am from this community, I am male, I am female, I am successful, I am failure, I am rich. All those become secondary. Your primary identity starts getting established. And the primary identity is I am divine, I am one with the Brahman. Jiva is Brahman. That identity gets strengthened. Now Jiva doesn't have to become Brahman. You don't have to become Brahman. The wave can never separate from the ocean. The space inside the house and space outside the house is same. But inside the house, the space appears to be separate because of the walls. So just look at the space inside and space outside, they are same. Don't get into illusion because of the wall. Don't get illusion into because of the body. the consciousness within and without is same. And that within and without is Brahman, the supreme reality. This you have to recognize. Instead of having the lower level identities and suffering in life. This is how you become free from suffering. And this is how you become free from cycle of birth and death. The birth and death is for the body. The body is born, it grows, it becomes old, it dies. The mind moves from one body to other body. But nothing happens to the consciousness, which is yourself. The real self. Believe in yourself. I want to correct it. Believe in your real self. Your real self is divine. Others, you believe in yourself, you start believing in I am a good man, I am a bad, I am strong, I am weak, all those things. You start identifying with the lower selves. Believe in real self. Your real self is divine, Brahman. You don't have to achieve that union. I want to become one with God. You are already one with God. Recognize that. The space inside the house is same as the space outside the house. It has no space inside the house has to merge with the space outside. No. The space has a boundary by the wall, but the wall cannot cut the space. Nothing can cut the consciousness. Okay? The consciousness is same. One reality, and I am that reality called consciousness. This you have to recognize. And this is the secret of becoming free from all suffering in life, becoming free from cycle of birth and death. So then when I say become free from suffering in life, once you recognize the divinity in you, will the problem disappear in life? The problems all will be there. Life will continue as it is. But ability for you to handle and solve the problem will be much better. You will handle the problems and solve the problems with the equanimity of the mind, because any problem will not disturb your identity. It doesn't cause dent or damage to your identity. As self, real self, as consciousness, nothing can affect you. Nothing in the physical world can affect you. But right now we have an illusion that I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect. So that's why you are called Purusha. Purusha in Sanskrit. Purusha means actually, Purusha, the word Purusha, in colloquial language, Purusha is used for a male in Kannada and other languages. But in Sanskrit, Purusha stands for consciousness. It's not male or female. And Purusha comes from the word Navadvare Purishayati, the one who is sleeping in the city called body. Why is sleeping? Because we have forgotten our own real identity. Just remember the analogy I gave earlier. When you are born to your parents, how many children were born? There were 3. You don't know that? The physical body was given by the parents. So you are born from a biological parents. But biological parents contribute only 2 cells for you. 1 cell from father, 1 cell from mother. The 2 cells became 4, 4 cells became 8, 8 cells became 16, and you became a ball of meat. And eyes developed, ears developed in that ball of meat. And finally a child, your body was shaped. This your parents didn't do, biological parents didn't do. They just contributed 2 cells. And who made this, converted this into a child? That is the universal intelligence. There's infinite intelligence in the universe. And that infinite intelligence is called Divine Mother. So your physical body is shaped by the divine intelligence in the universe. You say it's genes. Genes is just a memory. Who activates that memory? That is the intelligence. There's a lot of information in the book. But to understand what information is there, knowledge is required. That requires consciousness, intelligence. Similarly, what is genetic material that is understood by the intelligence in the universe? And that's called Divine Mother. So then, you are a product of biological parent, which is the body. Then there is consciousness in you. The consciousness is not a product of biological, it didn't come from biological parents. Consciousness appeared in your body. Okay? The consciousness is Shiva. Universal consciousness appeared. Consciousness is not born, it just appeared in the body. The universal consciousness is divine, Shiva. The body is shaped by the divine mother, Shakti, the universal intelligence. Universal consciousness appeared in you as the divine child. And physical body was shaped by the divine mother. So you are a product, you are actually, your body is born by divine biological parents. Your consciousness is born from the divine parents, Shiva and Shakti, universal consciousness and universal energy. And you have all the qualities of the divine consciousness, Shiva. What is it? Silence and peace. When the child is born, it's very silent and peaceful. It's a divine representation of the child. Consciousness. So, when the child is born, the consciousness is there and body is there. Which means you are a product of the matter and you are a product of divine consciousness. You are a product of biological parents and divine parents. So, as the mind grows, the mind is a contribution of society, knowledge. A self-identity grows. I am a male, I am a female, I am so and so. The self-identity brings the mind. So the third child is born. It's called society child. All our life, we are trying to struggle with the society child. We are struggling with the divine, what you call as biological society child. But your biological child has a problem. It has a food, hunger, thirst, sex and birth, aging and death. But our struggles are all mental, mind. And mind is a product of the society. Okay. So, this Kathopanishad says, just you have to remember your divine nature, which is consciousness. Where is the consciousness? It's manifest in the intellect. And the consciousness manifest in the intellect is same as the universal consciousness. They are not different. A wave is not different from the ocean. You are the divine child. So, you have to remember your connection with the supreme consciousness. And that is the secret of becoming free from birth and death. Right now we are living as if we are a society child. All mental worries and tensions we have because of the mind. And mind is by and large a product of the society. We have forgotten our divine nature. So remember that. The body is, the biological body is the temple of the divine. The biological body has come from the biological parents. They gave you the temple. The deity of the temple came from Shiva, consciousness, universal consciousness, Brahman. In the interaction with society, you have forgotten your true nature. So, believe in yourself has to be corrected. Believe in your true self. That's the correct statement.